ages, and we can
there's one of
already
them.
see some interesting cards there, as you don't get to see Chi-Yu-EX every day.
I mean, that Jealously Singe, discard the top 2 cards of your opponent deck. Very similar to why Crabominable sometimes features in the list. So that will be a card that might come up in the end game to try and accelerate the win condition. But it will be Joshua starting us off here, and looks to be setting up nice and wide early on.
Yeah, we've gone ahead and benched that Moltres. Wow, that is lovely when you've just benched a Moltres. You're Ultra Balling away to Dark Energy. Dark Energy is so easy in this deck to get put back onto Pokemon. So many ways to do it, but Ultra Balling 2 away early game, really good choice.
And you can see, like, when you see a Radiant Charizard start, you do not think controlling Archetype, but you can see the way that Joshua is checking the prize cards. There was a switch card brought up to see whether it was there. They're very aware of what they're up against here, so they know they got a challenging matchup. But having 3 cross switches prized is taking away a lot of those options to be able to switch out. I mean, you could, in theory, get 2 switching opportunities for those, but the fact that you can't even get 1 currently with those prize cards, those cross switcher combos won't be used for a little while.
Yeah, indeed, it can be really tricky, but I kind of, weirdly, cross switches being in the prizes, I kind of like it because they get to take them gradually throughout the game.
So when we saw Manuel gesture his hand towards Joshua to say, you go, that wasn't to say you're going first, but it was to say, I can't do anything, it is your turn, because we've just seen Professor Sada's Vitality being played by Joshua. So Manuel went first, started Radiant Charizard, and has passed. So there is every world right now where we see a first turn knockout.
Oh my goodness, and that's the beauty of Roaring Moon, right? You can always get that knockout if you're going second and your opponent only starts with 1 Pokemon. If there's no Pokemon on your field, you instantly lose the game, and it looks like we could very well see that unfold right here. It's never a nice situation, but is one of the huge strengths of Roaring Moon, and another reason why I love this deck is that you can just go, oh, 1 Pokemon, lovely, well, I've got unlimited damage. Let's go. We get a Dark Patch on Moltres. Moltres' ability can get another one of those energy back from the discard pile. There's a world in which Moltres could even take this knockout.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think right now Josh is trying to work out, what do I do here? If I attach this energy to the Roaring Moon...
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so just going for...
Oh, a Mew and a Sada.
So I can put the Mew down and can just Squawk and Seize. But yeah, thinking about whether to attach that energy, because there is a world where energy switch comes through and then you just put it straight into the active and get that knockout.
That's beautiful. Here we go. I think they've got it, because this is a Forest Seal Stone. They can use their V-Star power to get any card they like.
Energy
so they
switch?
could get a switch or an energy switch, but a switch card. Yep, that makes sense. And then in hand already, they've got Pokestop, they've got a Dark Patch, and an Attach for Turn.
Oh, and they've even got the Dark Patch there. They've got the ability of the Galarian Moltres still. So loads of different ways to do it here.
There it is, and there's the win. There we go. Fastest game we've seen on stream this weekend, I think.
Straight away, Roaring Moon showing exactly what it's capable of. And that is the reason why we ask, can this deck deal with the early pressure of Roaring Moon? And on this first game, it seems to have gone perfectly.
And the crowd are going wild for Roaring Moon, and deservedly so, deservedly so. Absolutely fantastic game, really showing the fearsome nature of the beast itself.
Oh, recognising lots of people from Joshua's community there. As we mentioned, a bit of a fan favourite, you know, one of our content creators in the space, and it's always good to see those guys doing so well. And just unfortunate for Manuel. You know, come on here, we've bigged up his deck and said how great it is, and I think that might be one of the worst starts you can have with the Radiant Charizard and no other ball search. So hopefully that's just a blink and we don't have to worry about it too much, but maybe it is just that Roaring Moon is one of the tougher matchups.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think in regards to control, Roaring Moon is one of the tougher matchups because, like I said earlier, the attacking power of Roaring Moon, pretty much everything in their deck being able to attack. Like, I imagine Joshua must be over the Roaring Moon with that result just now, being able to take the first knockout straight away. Just cool, that's game 1.
pure aggression. And I mean, turn 1 attacks are very scary for any deck. A lot of decks will be able to come back later on, but of course, if you can't fill out your bench nice and wide, then it will just put a lot of pressure on. And that Luxray V, again prized. There is only 1 in the deck, so 2 games now that's been prized. But the Mawile, another interesting card in the deck. And has he just gone first again and passed?
No.
No
Oh my
way.
goodness gracious, I never thought I'd see this unfold. There is a world in which Joshua can make this the fastest game I think I've ever seen on a Pokemon trading card game regionals cast.
I mean, you've just got a feel for Manuel right now. You've come onto your stream game here with an innovative deck, and you don't even get a chance to show it off. We were literally talking about how we want to work out this deck live, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of working out you can do if you just see put a basic down and pass.
I do not know what to do with myself right now. I am absolutely speechless. I was about to say how Joshua, you know, 2 battle VIP pass and the prize card isn't great, but you know what? I don't think it's going to matter. They're just going to do a prize check because I suppose it is important here. They've got to go for it. They've got to put the pressure on. I think that, you know, this is Joshua's moment.
Exactly, and just that Ultra Ball to get the Squawkabilly. The hand not looking great. There is a Professor Sada's Vitality in there, but ideally you'd want to do that with some Dark Energy rather than the water that's in there. But it is a possibility to get it done before the Squawk and Seas, but might just look to Squawk and Seas first, going into some fresh cards.
Yeah, they still haven't used Pokestop either, so there's lots to do.
Oh, that's looking good right there.
My goodness.
That is looking good.
Oh my gosh, yep. Conceal cards away, the Dark Energy, draw 2 cards. Here we go, 2 Earthen Vessels. You can...
Don't mind if I do.
Oh my goodness. Earthen Vessel away, the other Dark Energy.
It's just going to make that Pokestop so much more effective as well.
Oh, it really is. I cannot believe my eyes.
I mean, this is...
and can I just mention the Shiny Energy for a minute?
Oh yeah, they are beautiful. I mean, this is just showing you exactly why this deck is so aggressive and powerful early on. You know, with that Squawk and Seas, it's really unlocked the early turns of a lot of these decks. It's such a great inclusion for a deck like Roaring Moon. Same thing for Miraidon. It can really help accelerate those early turns to get a big knockout consistently. And right now, I think, again, the Galarian Moltres might be the target. Just power that up and put it into the active.
Yeah, honestly, maybe going first wasn't the right choice.
It's easy to say that in hindsight, but
I know,
maybe you're right.
But Roaring Moon has such an advantage going second, right? Because being able to attack and take out pretty much anything with infinite damage isn't just too strong.
That's an Ultra Ball and a Dark Patch.
Dark Patch! I think he's got it again. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Because there's Dire Flame Wings, attached for turn. They just need a switch card, right?
Yeah,
maybe?
I mean, the switch card's going to be the hard bit, but we'll be able to get something powered up. I think that's the main downside here. Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be an attack off here from Joshua.
Actually, I think you're right. I don't think Joshua's going to be able to switch.
Is there anything else? I mean, it could get down to,
Luminion.
Oh, that's more stuff.
Oh my goodness gracious, for Professor Sada's Vitality, because we haven't used a supporter yet. The previous hand regrowth was from our Squawkabilly's Squawk and Seas.
So that's going to get some more cards in hand, some energy into play too. Unfortunately, 2 energy switch are prized. I think one was discarded in that first hand for Joshua, so...
Let's go, Professor Sada's Vitality.
All right, so it's just going to be the 1 onto the active. What's drawn off these 3 here?
Come on, Roaring Moon, Energy, and more
Morpeko, I think. Yes, that's probably not going to be it there.
No, that's not enough still.
But still, I mean, in a very strong board state still. It's nothing too much to worry about.
Pushing for that, totally the right move. Absolutely the right move. And even just getting a board full of energy, not a bad thing. I think the only kind of backlash that I could see from this is that Joshua has benched a lot of Pokemon that don't deal well with control.
Especially with that Mawile there ready to go. You could potentially find a way to gust up, say, like the Luminion and use the Mawile there. I mean, one of the cool advantages of this deck, because you've got water energy there, you can get the Luminion out of the active. Squawkabilly, a little bit more access to hitting for 20 damage, but still, there is options there.
That's the thing. Squawkabilly would have to attack, what is it, 5 times with Motivate?
That's true.
To KO?
I'm sure the pennies will be useful in that scenario.
Yeah, so again, we might see a bit of a repeat of what we saw yesterday with our Squawkabilly trapped in the active against Snorlax block. Echoing Horn for
very
Mew
nice.
V. Mew V is quite nice for Joshua, I feel, though. At least they get to draw some cards, you know?
Yeah, so the Mew... is that the Celebrations Mew?
It's Mysterious Tail Mew, yeah.
Yeah, so that one can't attack, so that would be a great target for the Mawile.
Yeah, it really would. It can't attack. Mysterious Tail does give Josh search for items, though, so they could search their way into a switch card. So I kind of still don't hate it in the active.
This is interesting as well. Like, we were talking about going first or second, and you can see this hand here for Manuele. Much better if he'd gone second. You know, having the Arven doesn't actually play any Battle VIP pass, I don't think, but would have been able to start filling out the bench, and they get a Nest Ball plus a Forest Seal, and the Forest Seal can get you anything you want, and you got a Rotom, quick charge, and you can start rolling with your game plan. Seems to be doing this now with that delay on the gratification, but thankfully survived the first turn this time.
Thankfully, I'm pleased. I'm pleased. As interesting as it would have been to have had such a quick game, I also don't want that. I want to see some riveting Pokemon trading card game action, and I want to see what Manuel's deck does.
Oh yeah, I mean, it obviously thrives in the end game, right?
Yeah.
It wants to get down to the point where the opponent has one prize remaining to take, disrupt their hand completely, and then use something like Luxray to take out any resources there, using all of the different cards that we typically see in Snorlax control archetypes and utilize those here. So we'll see the Forest Seal Stone will be going down to that Rotom, and developing that rigid board state is key.
Indeed, and Manuel does have some evolutions of their own, which I imagine is why they are choosing to go first, because they want to try and get that Pidgeot as soon as humanly possible, so they can always search for a card they need per turn. So they're trying to get the Pidgeot EX fast. But in this instance, I think if you know you're going up against Roaring Moon, would you choose to go second instead, knowing that Roaring Moon can just do exactly what it did in game 1?
Well, I guess this is the scenario you're kind of hoping for. Maybe either get 2 basics down or be in a situation where they don't get the knockout. You know, hitting the knockout first turn for Roaring Moon is not impossible, but it doesn't happen every time. So maybe for them, just being that one turn ahead, hoping to get a Pidgey down to evolve it as soon as possible. Maybe that's the key.
Yeah, that was a double cross switcher off the top there. That was lovely. I don't know if it's going to be that important right now. I guess you could kind of... I don't know. It's a really tough one because every target on Manuel's board looks scary, right?
I'd get the Pidgey.
Yeah.
See you later, Pidgey.
I know. That's what I'm feeling. I'm like, the Morwile's a pest. The Pidgey is the consistency. The Rotom is 2 prize cards.
I guess the mindset here for Joshua is that they can always take out the Pidgey as a Pidgeot, right? And with that, you're better off saving those switch outs in case of some kind of disruption next turn.
They've gone for the Morwile. I think with the amount of vulnerable Pokemon on Joshua's bench, I think that's completely fair and a great decision.
And you can get 2 prizes off of a Pidgeot EX when you go for that instead.
Yeah, we'll take it. Manuel does have a fantastic hand, though. I know he's already got the rare candy in there. Just going ahead and playing a Nest Ball to begin with to search the deck for a basic Pokemon.
2 counter catchers as well. We saw that off the Pokestop.
Yeah, we did. That's true. Going
Almost
for another
definitely
Pidgey.
going to be played.
Oh, yeah. 1,000%. Another Pidgey there. Always good, keeping options open just in case. But 2 Pidgeot, is it necessary? Not sure. Not sure yet.
It might just be that safety net, having 1 Pidgeot EX and then 1 Pidgey ready to evolve in case of emergencies. A little backup plan. But we'll see what the game plan here. Ooh, really having to dig. So, okay. Pretty good Pokestops here for Manuele. And yeah, we know there's a Snorlax in that hand too. So in theory, if they're able to get a Pidgeot EX here, retreat into a Snorlax and gust up something on the bench, we'll see something very traditional with the block Snorlax, just to create some time. And then what I really want to see about this deck is, what does it do at the end of the game once it's done all this disruption?
Yeah, what do that deck do, though?
what does it do once it's got the disruption down? Does it use the Radiant Charizard? Does it use the Chi-Yu? I'm intrigued.
Here we go. Here we go. the Luminion forward. And I think that's a good call. Manuel's seen Joshua discard Water Energy. You can't use Professor Sada's Vitality to bring that back onto a Luminion, so you've got to go the long way around. You've got to use Professor Sada's Vitality and then an energy switch.
Well, this could have been an interesting one as well if we saw a Pidgeot EX getting discarded off of that Pokestop. Then the other one is in the prizes, so that could have been quite the problem, and that's what the risk of playing Pokestop is. If you're a deck that doesn't lean into it, it can sometimes throw your game plan off completely.
There's a lot of item cards in Manuel's deck, but the Pokemon are also incredibly important, so it does feel very risk versus reward, but being in a bit of a pinch now with Joshua's very flourished board state, I think it's understandable why they went for that risk in this game too. And they're going for another instant charge, leaving block Snorlax in the active. Here we go again, chat. Here we go again. Can Joshua bounce out of that? We know they can.
Well,
But
the thing
Manuel
about
doesn't.
it is Manuel didn't evolve the Pidgeys knowing that they could be a target here for something like a cross switcher, for something like a boss and a switch. And so they don't want to give a two-prizer early on, knowing that their hand isn't going to get disrupted right now. Joshua not playing any kind of disruption. It's pure, I'm going to set up a Roaring Moon, knock you out as fast as possible, and create a solid board state that doesn't matter if there's disruption involved.
Joshua was just having a look there at how many bosses orders they had in deck. They saw one.
They only have the one.
Yeah, there we go. But
Two crossies, two cross switches.
They were looking for it. I think Joshua's very aware that his other cross switches are in the prize card, so they're going to come later. So he's just looking at what other options they had to be able to manipulate Manuel's board state.
That was last game.
Oh, it was last game. Oh my goodness!
Do you remember that?
So
do you remember
quick.
last game? That
No,
it went by in a flash.
Could you roll that back for me, Mike? What
turn
happened?
one knockout.
Oh, you're right. It's two cross energy switch in the prizes this time. You're quite right. Ugh.
Well, you can see here a lot of the board getting energized, ready to start taking knockouts. And at this stage, Josh is just working out, is this the right time to take a knockout? You know, like if you take a knockout now, you're then down to 3 prize cards, and you're leaning into the comeback potential of Manuel's deck.
Oh, timing's crucial for both players. The Pidgeot evolution, do I attack? Everything is crucial, and we're going in. Okay, that was not a fantastic Pokestop. I think Manuel's going to be looking at how many Professor Sada's Vitality have been used already here.
And just checking out what's been removed, any ball search, any items. Yeah, I mean, this is the skill of the deck. Yeah, there's the cross switches ready to go. I mean, you have to be aggressive as the Roaring Moon, right? You can't wait around, because the longer you wait, the more opportunity for disruption Manuel has.
Absolutely. There's no two ways about it. You have to be on the ball. And to me, it looks like Joshua knows what they're doing against a control variant deck. But what happens when Manuel starts to get aggressive as well?
It's also, realistically, this...
Oh, here we go!
There it is. How are they going to do it? Are they going to keep the stadium in play? Because you saw the emergency jelly go down, so maybe going to go for the frenzy gouging here.
Maybe. Manuel has a monstrous hand, so I suppose it's whether they have gained enough resources with Rotom that the Rotom kind of going off board doesn't matter, or whether Joshua was just like, you know what, I just need to take more prize cards. I've taken one, this will put me down to half, let's go.
Is that a cancelling Cologne in Joshua's hand as well? That's something to bear in mind, because the block Snorlax gets cancelled and you can then retreat. So
yeah.
Another option for Joshua, does have plenty of ways to get around things like the Snorlax. So we'll be looking to get the knockout here on the Rotom, take away the draw, and keeping the health on that Roaring Moon. So no frenzy gouging, and now it's time. Pressure is on now for Manuel.
I really like that play, you know. And I was saying at the beginning of the match that Joshua didn't have a typical Roaring Moon deck, and the Emergency Jelly and the Cancelling Cologne are two of the cards that I picked out in my mind as, ooh, actually, that Cologne could be a saving grace here.
It's also good at getting through a Mimikyu. If you see Mimikyu put down, doesn't allow rule box Pokemon to attack into it. If you use that Cancelling Cologne, anything can knock it out. So there we go. A Stormy Mountain, another fun little card we haven't seen for a little while. For those of you who don't remember what it does, allows you to search your deck for a basic lightning Pokemon or a basic dragon Pokemon and put it onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. So that'll be to really get that Rotom out and going in those early turns.
Yeah, it's a useful stadium bump as well. Just, I can't think of many other stadiums that kind of would benefit Manuel's deck. So going for something that you're like, okay, it's another search. It's essentially a ball search in disguise. Dragon types aren't big right now in the meta, so it's not really going to benefit my opponents much. It's really only Miraidon that you'd need to worry about.
Maybe Giratina.
Yeah, just
but
Giratina.
They don't need it. They've got plenty of options.
They're all good. And there we go. A nice bit of disruption. First one of the game, I believe, with our INO. Yeah, it was time. It was absolutely time.
Well, we'll see. The other target for the Stormy Mountain is the Luxray.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I forgot about Luxray because it's been prized both games.
Yep, and speaking of prizes, a heavy ball will be able to get it.
Oh, there he is.
There it is. So for those of you who don't know about the Luxray V, it was included in some new VMAX decks, but it's a very good way to disrupt decks that need a lot of item cards and just trainer cards in general. Your opponent reveals their hand, discard a trainer card you find there, and it also has that benefit of your opponent revealing their hand, which is always useful for controlling archetypes.
Yeah, being able to just look at someone's hand and know whether you have the advantage, knowing whether you should disrupt, knowing exactly what the potential that they can inflict upon you is. In this instance, Manuel probably doesn't know about that cancelling cologne. And that could be short-lived.
Yeah, I mean, that's the disadvantage of that first game being so quick, is Manuel didn't get to find any of the cards in Joshua's deck. So the switch card that we just saw drawn off the top, the cancelling cologne, now knows about the cross switches, so we'll assume there are 2 more in there.
Yeah, I think it's a safe assumption. There's at least 1 more cross switcher, but most Roaring Moon decks that are playing this Pokestop high item variant will be certainly going for 4.
Well, this is the exact feeling a lot of people will be having right now. You see Joshua there tapping the table, trying to work out what the right plan of action is, but getting the switch card allows for that early aggression into another attack.
Here we go. That's 2 prizes left after this one. Let's count them down together, folks. We're down to 2.
And without a Bravery Charm on the Snorlax, it is in range of a Galarian Moltres attack. 190 damage will be knocking it out. And we are now 2 prize cards remaining. And this is the question. What can Manuel's deck do in these final stages?
Yeah, Snorlax couldn't handle that Aura Burn, taking it out. We've just got 2 Pidgey now. It's not looking fantastic. The early Pidgey has not got the Wormhole in this instance. We're not jiving.
Without the Rotom as well after that, INO really has left Manuel in a quite disrupted state.
And Sydney, another card that allows you to look at your opponent's hand, choosing to discard the Pokestop there, but just having another little glance they can possibly remember. So there's a lot of cards in Manuel's deck that allows them to go, let me have a cheeky peek.
Oh yeah, 100%, and did find some stuff to get rid of there, but nothing too worrying. I mean, the Galarian Moltres can just take another knockout here, and that will put Joshua down to 1 prize.
1 prize card, let's go! Oh no, poor Pidgey, that's it, there's the handshake! Roaring Moon takes down the absolutely terrifying block stall opponent.
My goodness, and unfortunately,